So I think, and this is something I see all the time, I think people are critical of Proton or really anybody for just offering a suite as if that is inherently a bad thing, which I don't think it is. I think we have to remember the way most people use their devices is through suites. Like everything is an ecosystem. People are used to putting all of their eggs in one basket already.
First of all, just because most people do something does not mean it's a good idea. Reusing passwords, logging in with single sign-in, not using an ad blocker. Most people do these things, and yet they're called bad habits for good reason. And dumping all of your data into a single ecosystem is no different. We've seen real-world examples of why this is a bad idea. Let's take a look at how dumping everything into a single ecosystem is a bad idea. Our first problem is that data access can be easily lost. In fact, too easily. Here's our sample ecosystem. Let's say a hacker gets into your Proton account and changes the login password. Not only have you lost access, but now the hacker has access to everything attached to that account. And depending on when you notice the unauthorized access, the hacker could have had enough time to copy everything from your account. Alternatively, let's say Proton disables your account access. Perhaps you're a whistleblower being accused of unlawful hacking, and Proton complies by disabling your account access. Now your data is being held hostage, not by a hacker, but by the platform itself. Funny thing is, this scenario actually happened. In fact, the story was even covered by the dopes over at Surveillance Report.
So our highlight story this week is about Proton. Proton has been accused of suspending journalist accounts at the request of a cybersecurity agency from South Korea. These guys got this data, they wrote up an article, and South Korea reached out to Proton and said, these guys are engaging in illegal hacking, can you please disable their accounts? And Proton did. And apparently it took multiple weeks, and the accounts were eventually reinstated. Andy Yen wrote this big blog post on Reddit. I asked Andy to explain this a little bit better. And I said that, so I'll just read what I wrote for the audio listeners. You said in this post, if a violation is verified beyond a reasonable doubt, Proton will suspend. Proton is encrypted, but we use OSINT, blah, blah, blah. You then say, quote, in enforcing our terms of service, we show no favor or bias. It doesn't matter your ideology or which side you are on. Proton enforces the terms of service uniformly. However, then you said, quote, in this case, I made the decision to exceptionally restore 2 accounts because hacktivism cases are not always black and white. And I said, so which is it? Did they break the terms of service that you uniformly enforce, or did you give them a pass because of bad PR? If they didn't break the terms of service, why were they banned in the first place after such a thorough verification process? Why do these people get a pass and not others? And then he said, I restored the 2 accounts exceptionally because I am personally sympathetic towards them, and there is just enough gray zone to make this permissible, but a stricter interpretation applied by the team originally would be that they broke the terms of service. I really hate to say bad things about Proton, but that's really alarming, because Andy has made his political leanings very clear in the past, and this tells me that if he is not sympathetic to your leanings, then you may not get your account restored. Yeah, I don't like to be political or take sides, but that's really alarming, and I don't like that. I don't like that he personally decided to unilaterally make an exception because he liked what they had to say.
Of course, we shouldn't be surprised Henry is once again flip-flopping his view. It wouldn't be Techlore if Henry wasn't flip-flopping his opinions every week, which is ironically the only thing he's consistent with.
But sometimes it's actually far more inconvenient, and it's not worth it to move away for like a nebulous concern like too many eggs in one basket, which by itself is not an issue, right? Like putting eggs in one basket is not inherently by itself an issue per se.
Is this guy a retard?
That's not what you said when it came to Apple's ecosystem.
No, that's a bummer, and I mean, that's part of the reason why I try my hardest, even if I'm using an Apple device, to not fall into the Apple ecosystem, because once you're in it, they make it extremely difficult to get away from it.
So, it's only a nebulous concern when it comes to privacy-branded companies and services, but totally problematic when it comes to big tech companies such as Apple.
I smell something. Bullshit.
This isn't a big tech versus FOSS issue. Locking yourself into an ecosystem is problematic across the board. Proton could suddenly turn against its own users, and few people would leave immediately. Most users would simply stay, all because they don't want to migrate their data yet again. The very same reason why you claim to avoid Apple's ecosystem. And yet, you're going to sit there and spin a bad faith argument to viewers that locking yourself into an ecosystem is a good thing. Maybe you should spend more time offering real solutions to viewers instead of giving them a lazy catch-all answer.